Hello, my sweet crafty friends. Monique with Grace and Tattered Lace. Let's build this cute, playful gingerbread man and his snowman hat kit together. I will put the link to the kit and the stencil that I used today in the comments if you are interested. Anyway, the first thing I did was paint that hat and the brim black, and then I took the sanding paper just to rough the edges up. Take that harshness of that black off of there just to give it that vintagey look. I like that vintagey look, friends, but if you don't, you do not have to do it this way. Do it your way, your style. Okay, now let's do the little gingerbread man. I used some cinnamon folk art paint. I did not show that because I don't want you to sit and watch me paint that little gingerbread man. I am going to flip this over and use the back side here after a bit. But I used on his mouth, I used a marker, a white marker to make the little mouth and the eyes. If you're interested in that, I got that on Amazon. Now I'm just using a little makeup sponge to sponge the snowflakes and the word snow, and we dried them. And using the sanding paper again on those to give them a little bit of a vintagey look, or rustic, whichever you prefer. But okay, now I'm just using some spackle that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm putting some black paint in that, mixing that up nice and good. I did add a little bit more to get that kind of like the consistency of peanut butter. We're going to use a stencil on here, you guys. I did wipe that down with a little wipe, made sure that it was dry before I put my stencil on, and made sure that I got my little wax paper free of all of the sandpaper dust particles so that I don't get it all over my stencil. Now I just lifted that stencil and put it right on the backing and slid my board in between. Now we're going to use a little squeegee, and we're going to apply that paint mixture that I made right onto the stencil. Now I know a lot of you don't like the black on the black, same color on the same color, but it does give it some definition. It makes it so beautiful. And you can see it there, but when it dries, you can see it even more. So I did take that off to the side and dried it. And then I realized that I forgot the little brim, so we're going to stick that in there, and we're going to do the brim as well. Just smoothing that paint right over the top. This is a great option over that chalk paste. It's a little bit of a cheaper version. However, if you don't feel confident in it, you can get the chalk paste as well. But look at how cute that looks, you guys, with that stencil on there. I had my hat the wrong direction, and golly Moses, I'm just realizing that you can't see a good top portion of this hat through this, probably the rest of this video. Hopefully I've fixed that for you guys. Now you can see I was playing with the gingerbread man, and I decided I didn't like it with the face, and I wanted to put some glasses on there. So the glasses do not come in this kit, but I do have them available in embellishment kits that are also on the website. So if you're interested in that, check out the embellishment sections for those. So I just repainted the little gingerbread man, used my sanding paper to go around the edges, and there we go. We're going to put them together. I used that same black paint that we used on the stencil on those glasses, and then I just scuffed them up a little bit with the sandpaper. I'm going to use my stick fast in the thick version to attach my little pieces all over the place. I didn't really show you all of that attachment because you didn't really need to see all of that. Anyway, now I'm going to use my little ribbon. I love to call this dingle ball ribbon, you guys. I don't know why I call it that, but anyway, we just used a couple little pieces on his arms and his leg as he's peeking out from behind his little snowman hat. And he is just so adorable, you guys. I think he's so darn cute. But doesn't it look so awesome with that stencil in that background? Guys, if you don't have access to the stencil, or it's not in your budget, you can use some a printable and put a printable on there just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. You can even paint it, get some plaid, buffalo print, anything that you choose to do. Anyway, so I used a couple of tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, and behind that brim, we're going to lift it up a little bit to put our greenery behind it and make it easier to kind of put together. Just using a couple different variety pieces of greenery, and we'll get that glued down. I have some red berry there. Doesn't that look cute already? All right. So now we're going to make a bow. I have got some wired ribbon here, and we're going to use our Bow Dabber tool. You can find this on Amazon, Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. I think Walmart still has them. I'm just going to use a couple of little layering techniques with my ribbon, just adding some color and some depth to the ribbon, or our bow, I apologize. So I just layered a bunch of different things in here. That ribbon was fairly wide because of the thickness of it and that wire on the side, so it became a little bit difficult for me to get some of these smaller ribbons in there. You'll see in a moment I'm using some very fine satin ribbon there, and I was trying to make like a loop bow to go over the top, and you could see I got frustrated, so I just pulled it out and did it by hand, and then just plopped it right in there. I added a couple extra little wispies to give it some tails. Anyway, you can see that was a little bit of a challenge because of that fat wire. Then I added one more piece because I had hoped to add some more into the top, but because it was already fat and struggling with the small wires, I decided to do it a different route. So there I have that. And in a minute, you'll see me take another piece of that rickrack looking ribbon and add another piece that goes behind it. Just trimmed it all up. And there you can see I just took the ribbon, folded it in half, attached some twine to it, and then adhered that to my hat first, and then attached the other bow right over the top. I could have cut this out, you guys, but I wanted to see how, wanted to let you see how I kind of layered those bows together to give it that look. Anyway, so darn cute. Okay, now we're going to attach that little bow right there. I have the little word snow. We'll attach that on the side there as well. And I just felt like it just needed more. There wasn't enough, in that little greenery area. So I took a piece of rusty wire that I attached 3 rusty bells to, glued them down so that they're kind of like all stuck together straight. You can see how that is. I did this 2 more times, so I have 3 of those. And I added some little cinnamon sticks. I got these decorative cinnamon sticks over at Hobby Lobby. You can see the package there. And I was really struggling because I had already glued my greenery down, but I played with it and I got everything in there just the way I wanted it to be. But look at how much that those cinnamon sticks and those rusty bells added to that hat. And then I felt like it just needed a couple other pieces, so I took that rusty wire again, twirled it around a paint stick to give it some little curlicues, and added a couple of those. And then I took some of the red little berries that I found. Also, those came from Hobby Lobby as well. And I just added some red berries in there just to give it more color and make it a little bit more playful. Again, you guys, I will be posting the link to the kit for my shop, as well as the link to the stencil in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this. Give it some love.